And welcome. Good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. Welcome to first of its kind for my channel, live show with Q&A. What is going to happen today is first, I'll talk about the back screen a little bit later, don't worry. First, it is going to be more like a podcast, or at least that's how I imagine it will be. The commentary will stay, but my face and the webcam will be gone. And if you remind me by the end of the live show tonight, I will tell you what is the reason that I don't want my face to be displayed tonight. Welcome everyone. I haven't checked how many people we do currently have online, but I hope that those of you who miss the live Q&A session will have a chance to catch up on YouTube when I upload it as a normal video without any kind of edits and reduction. I hope that you're going to enjoy what I'm thinking to present tonight because it's going to be a nice, very interesting challenge. I've done 3 Q&A videos in the past, but they were in a very different way structured. And today I'm going to answer, if I can, in the span of 1 hour. I'm going to put a limit on myself, just like BioWare does in all of their live shows. I'm going to put myself on a limit for 60 minutes after I start. Don't worry, I'm not wasting the 60 minutes now. How long will it take me to answer the 150 questions, or will I be able to answer the 150 plus questions that you've posted to me in the span of 1 hour? The questions are mostly related to me, my channel, and my 2 favorite games, Star Wars: The Old Republic and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I will do my best to answer each and every one of the questions, starting with the first one posted, so that's the oldest one, and you will be seeing them on your screens as well to help you while I'm reading the question and then answering after that. I don't promise that I will be able to answer all of them. If I miss a question, that's not on purpose. There are no bad questions. If there were, and I don't remember really any troll questions or stupid ones, I would have deleted them. So all of the questions are important, and I hope that you will enjoy them. I've never done a Q&A live before. I've been a guest here and there on a few podcast shows, mostly related to Star Wars: The Old Republic. But I've never hosted a podcast of my own. And what we're about to do tonight is kind of a podcast because there is very little to no video to be seen, although there is going to be some things happening here and there. And this is a pure experiment for me. In the past, I've always selected questions for the Q&A videos, and I've presented background relative to what I'm talking about. Today, I will not be able to do that because we are live. And I prefer to focus on talking about the questions and the answers. 50. The chat will be displayed, but I would like to very strongly encourage all of you to leave your comments down below in the video after I publish it on YouTube. First, because it's easier for me to catch up. Second, because I will not be reading the chat during the live stream all of the time, but I will do my best to catch up whenever I can. I'm doing this simply to save time and be able to answer as many of the questions as possible. I'm absolutely aware that not all of you asked your question purely because you want them to be answered, but because of the giveaway. And don't worry, every single question and every single comment that has been posted and hasn't been deleted right now, you can check the link of the video down below in the description. They all take part for the giveaway of the Hyper Crate Star Wars: The Old Republic in-game cartel store item. It will be drawn randomly in the end of the stream. You don't need to be present, but if you enjoyed the show, I would value your presence very highly. Very highly. Damn it. It's Monday. I'm tired. Let's begin. I'm going to switch the screens one by one. First, this that you've been watching on the background, What's Wrong with Fallen Empire, is one of my very rare blog posts. It will be turned into a SWTOR opinion video later on, but at the moment it's only available on my website in written form as a blog post. I would like to invite you to check it out later, of course, not right now, don't go away. And then I would like to remind those of you who have never before watched live shows on YouTube how it is done. Visiting the homepage of the channel of the person that you are enjoying. In this case, it's YouTube/C or /user. Vulkk SWTOR is the name of my channel. And then right here, you will see upcoming live streams. Obviously, I've just refreshed it and the live stream is not upcoming anymore. It's right here. But when you click on upcoming, you will see something like this. And right here, you will see as many events as I've hosted as upcoming. Down below is the starting time, Monday, 9 p.m. This is local time for you. Whatever I said here, everybody is seeing this time for their own time zone, depending on what they've selected down here and in the Windows settings. And also, of course, you can set your reminder. YouTube is going to send you a quick notification and an email before the show starts. The next screen is, wow, we're live. And I'm going to skip Patreon because I don't want to impose too much of Patreon information and asking for these things. This is the window that is going to be shown for the most part tonight. Now, allow me, please, a couple of moments to hide this and this. And then it's time to show this. That's going to be the home screen for the biggest part of the event tonight, together with this beauty. Ooh, maybe like this. And then we will start again, as I've mentioned, from the oldest question posted. If you're wondering why I have my YouTube with dark background, that's a stylish theme that I've installed just now. Otherwise, watching at the white background on my PC screen for 1 hour is going to tire my eyes very seriously. Beginning right now. Are you ready? First question. Will the new SWTOR 2.0 that is currently in works be fundamentally different from the current game? Will it have rich stories? Will it be fully voiced? That's a tricky question, Master Spiff. First, there is no official announcement that a second game, Star Wars The Old Republic, is currently in development. Kind of rumors have started maybe 2.5 years ago. And there is that very suspicious post that has been reappearing and deleted soon after that on the SWTOR subreddit. The author is always a different person, but the text is always the same, and that text claims that the second game is being under development. This might very well be true, but we have absolutely no reason to believe this is true. It's just a rumor. So the second part of the question. I believe that it will have very rich and many different stories, more than what we currently have, when and if such a game is developed. Will it be fully voiced? Absolutely. Star Wars The Old Republic set a brand new standard for voicing any kind of a PC game or any kind of a game. These days, if you play a game and you're forced to read a quest description, you feel like, whoa, wait, am I back in 2005 or what? These days, pretty much every new game, especially an MMO, is voiced over. Maybe not everything in the game is voiced over, but it's BioWare's fault. They put it as a standard for their own. The second question from Drex SW. How do you think KOTV will end? I dare say what I want from KOTV. From KOTV is Knights of the Fallen Empire, or just Fallen Empire for short. I want Vaylin to take the throne. How and if she's going to do it is another question. My personal dream is that the player will kill Archon. Vaylin will take over the throne somehow. We already saw what happened in the end of chapter 15, and it's going to be another big surprise of how exactly are the brother and sister going to overcome the double trouble coming from us, the Alliance, and Scorpio. No more spoilers, though. And of course, it's one of my many dreams related to Star Wars The Old Republic and Knights of the Fallen Empire particularly. I want to see Malgus back. Some of us remember a short 30-ish second video posted from the backstage. It was shared on Twitter numerous times, and it was Malgus in a... why is the word escaping me? In a coffin. He was in carbonate chamber. So Malgus is alive. We couldn't kill him by forcing him to fall down in a bottomless pit. The next question. If you never found SWTOR or YouTube, what would you be doing now? Really hard to say. If I never found SWTOR, That's easy. I would probably be playing another game that would be my favorite. It's very likely that this game will not be Star Wars related because currently there is no better Star Wars game than Star Wars The Old Republic. If there wasn't YouTube, there would have been something else. I mean, in 2016 or in 2006, I don't remember when exactly I discovered YouTube. Whenever it is, something else would have taken its place. So I cannot imagine a possible universe or a possible time where YouTube doesn't exist or anything similar to YouTube. Question from Trig. If BioWare were to make another Star Wars game, which would you prefer? My choices are Star Wars The Old Republic 2, an MMO with a good engine, good stories, and good endgame. Really? That sounds a little bit too perfect. And the second option is Star Wars Ages, a single-player game in the style of Dragon Age, where you create a character and adventure with several companions. Oh, I do have a third option. Star Witcher, a complex single-player game with one predefined hero. My choice obviously is number 3, or option number C, a Star Witcher. He is actually crossing here. He is one of the people who follows my Witcher 3 videos very thoroughly, thank you. And he's actually crossing over here Star Wars game with The Witcher. What's different between The Witcher and Dragon Age, for example, is that both of the games are RPG, but The Witcher is a predefined story that the player is following, and it's been revealed before him or her while they play the game. Whereas with Dragon Age, you get to create your own character, and more or less you're allowed to shape that character in whatever form you want. This is in a much less or much smaller form factor allowed in The Witcher 3. I personally prefer to play a game where a tale or a story is being told for me, and I'm just experiencing it. I get to decide what, why, where, and how, but I'm more enjoying to follow a storyline of a tale rather than creating my own. The next question from Farblade. I was wondering, what is your favorite chapter from Fallen Empire? At least so far, I mean, I know we have a couple chapters to go still, but if you had to pick from the ones we've seen, which one would you count as your favorite? Fireblade has enjoyed 14 the most, but both 13 and 11 were very fun and engaging too. Seriously? My favorite, and by far, is number 12. It is the chapter that surprised us all. We were just losing our patience and our hopes for good story with each one of these standalone chapters released every month. But chapter 12 was long, entertaining, and engaging. We made important decisions, but best of all, we witnessed insanely good and very well written story with interesting surprises and important moments. We met special legendary characters. That's what I was hoping to see more from Fallen Empire, not just from one chapter. Epic, legendary, Star Wars related characters. I mean, it's awesome that we got Vet and Tiresias Loci, but they are kind of more distantly related to Star Wars compared to the Jedi Knight and the Sith Lord, right? Question from Matei. Did you like Star Wars Galaxy more than SWTOR? And I know some already asked this, but I'm curious, Triss or Yen? The first question, obviously, I do like Star Wars The Old Republic more. It's a more complex and much better game in terms of endgame mechanics and classes, balancing, just content, much richer content. However, I do keep only and all the best memories from Star Wars Galaxies. Star Wars Galaxies was a game that launched in 2003 and shut down in the end of 2011, a couple months before the launch of Star Wars The Old Republic. I've played Star Wars Galaxies for about 5 years and I've always enjoyed it. It did have a huge amount of problems. One of them was a terrible engine that didn't allow many people on the same screen. One might wonder, why are all of the Star Wars MMOs sharing the same problem with the crappy engine? I don't know. The second question, Triss or Yen, it's a question for The Witcher 3. I do not have a favorite because according to the books and the rich lore of the Witcher universe, I am actually very intrigued and very split on who to choose. I see that you guys are disappointed. If you have an important question from the live chat, by all means, post it. I'm trying to check all the time the chat, and if you post something interesting, I'll definitely stop and answer. But no, this live show was not intended for live questions. Maybe the next one will. You can always give me the suggestions when I publish the video. Post your opinions down below in the commentary sections, and I will read all of those and I will react accordingly for the next Q&A video. I've always wanted to do surprisingly on the spot Q&A video, but unfortunately my channel and my audience is not as huge as I want it to be, and I can never be sure how many people will turn up for an event like that and how many people would ask questions like that. Continuing the answer, Triss or Yen, I've done playthroughs choosing Triss, then Yen, then neither of them both. And all of these different choices present you with very different outcomes sooner or later in the game. And now we know that there are different things in the second expansion of the game. A little, but then very interesting and important changes. Something that we probably never going to see in Star Wars The Old Republic. My favorite from The Witcher 3 is Triss, simply because in this game, and in the previous ones of course, but I've only started playing them, so I don't have a very wide knowledge of the previous two games. I've started with The Witcher 3 and then went back to the other ones. So primarily in The Witcher 3, Triss is the kind of character that at least I, as a player, would be more attracted to. Geralt obviously isn't. And if I want to follow the lore of the books, I will have to choose Yen. However, I really dislike the way Yennefer is treating Geralt from time to time in the books and in the games. So if I follow the lore of the books, I would choose Yennefer because that's the way it has to be. And Andrzej Sapkowski has actually put a strict rule for us. There is no choice for Geralt. He is forever in love with her, and there is no other way. And according to the games, Triss is a much more open and friendly character. What is my least favorite story element in this game and why? This is a question that Dragon Spheres is asking currently in the live chat. My least favorite story element in this game is... that's tough. Okay, I can answer simply. All of the side characters and companions that we are recruiting as part of the Alliance recruitment system. This is story and it is boring. All of these characters are just pawns. They have absolutely no impact of our story and the development of Fallen Empire. They're just side recruitment missions that we waste 20, 30 to 40 minutes to recruit and then never come back to them. Maybe some people are playing with the new companions that we're recruiting every month or almost every month. I personally am not, especially because I want my companion to be decently geared, which means with high influence, you know, that they don't depend on gear anymore. And high influence is a huge amount of grind. That's why I'm not doing it. Continuing back with the questions, where was I? Mighty Fire Demon, what is your favorite class in the game and what is your least favorite class? My most favorite class in the game is, of course, Sentinel, and kind of sharing the first spot, Sentinel, with Marauder. Why? Because it's a melee class, and I've always played it in all of the games I've been playing, which is Star Wars Galaxies, Lord of the Rings Online, and now Star Wars The Old Republic. I've always been playing as my main a melee DPS class, preferably with 2 weapons. In Star Wars Galaxies, we didn't have a class with 2 weapons, so I played a Jedi. The least favorite class for me to play, not related to the story, not at all, it is the Smuggler and it is the Scoundrel and Operative DPS. The mechanics are just not appealing to my playstyle. They're not bad, the class is not bad. It's just something that rubs me the wrong way when I play that class, and I absolutely love healing as a Scoundrel and as an Operative. It's just that the DPS model is not entertaining for me. Again, if you've never played those classes, don't take my word as if they're something horrible. Not at all. You might actually enjoy those. Question from Bad Manners, who I believe is here, right? I think I saw. Yes, you are. No, it's not over. Why are you asking if it's over? It's live. There is no gameplay on the screen because it's a different kind of a live show. So, Bad Manners is asking 2 questions. What countries would you like to visit if you had a chance? And also, how long have you been doing YouTube and SWTOR? You're very welcome. What countries I would like to visit? Here is a deep secret that I've probably never shared with my audience on YouTube, but my closest friends know that I have a weird dream of visiting Pripyat, which is an abandoned city around the Chernobyl plant. This is weird, I know, and I don't know why I'm drawn to that place. I've seen every single documentary movie. Of course, I want to visit countries such as the ones that I haven't visited yet. Of course, I'm going to list Spain, Italy, probably go to the United States and see why everybody loves that country. Hey, I apologize for not starting with it. Today is 4th of July. And for those of you who don't know, 4th of July is the national holiday for the United States of America. Since a huge part of my audience is actually from there, what am I supposed to say here? Congratulations is probably not in order. Happy 4th of July, US. If I remember from my history lessons, the country got its independence on 4th of July, 1776. So that's quite some time ago. One of the youngest countries in the world, but today it's one of the best and most developed. So, continuing with the other question, I've been doing YouTube videos since the middle of 2012. I've started my own channel, that the one you're subscribed to and currently watching, in May 2013. Before that, I created 2 other channels, Aura Guild and DR Guild. Both of them were serving to show videos of Operation and Flashpoint group activities for my 2 previous guilds. Both guilds are dead now. Aura disbanded a long time ago. Aura was my Star Wars Galaxies guild. And DR disbanded, but most of the players are still active even today. They joined another guild, which name escapes me at the moment. And I believe the channel is still active. From time to time, I gave the information and the login name to someone who's now taking care of that channel, I believe. So, yep, I've been playing SWTOR since 11.11.11. You know, that's 11th of November 2011, a little bit before the early access began. It's one of the beta events. And I've never taken a break ever since. Question from G Dang. Of all the things available to do in SWTOR, which is your favorite? Operations. Sorry, I'm not going to expand this answer because if I start doing it for every question and every answer, it will take us 2 days. You're very welcome, Varda, and everybody else who might be an American citizen watching right now. Whoa, quite a few questions from Adam. How long have I been playing SWTOR? We know that since the very beginning. I've already answered it. What do you think about Knights of the Fallen Empire chapters? I don't like the idea of receiving 1 chapter every month because the chapters are not 2 hours long. I've started playing another game. What was the company's name that developed the Walking Dead series and the Game of Thrones series? It was a good company, but I can't remember at the moment what was their name. So I was expecting the chapters from Fallen Empire to be something around the 2 hours mark, released every month with huge amount of story and options. Will you accept Veiling as a companion if it happens she joins your crew? No. Not on Vulkk, of course. Whenever I finally decide to start doing the Alliance on my Sith Marauder, I will definitely accept her there. But since at the moment Vulkk is the only character doing that, I will not do it with Vulkk. Do I have a favorite class? Yes, Sentinel Marauder. That question, I believe, has been answered already. Going 1 number up with Matthias. Now that season 1 of Knights of the Fallen Empire is coming to an end, what is your review of the change of the story content ever since this expansion, going from class stories to a general storyline contained on a few planets like Rise of the Hood Cartel and Shadow of Revan, to the episodic and arguably more personal story that we get in Knights of the Fallen Empire, and perhaps your thoughts on how it can evolve again to make it better. Either way, curious what other questions will come up. Well, we have a lot of questions, and with the speed I'm taking them, I don't really think I'll have a chance to answer all of them. If I don't answer your questions, feel free to post them on another video, because I usually always respond to comments on my videos, old or new, related or not so much related. I usually always respond, or save your question for the next Q&A. I don't like the idea of chapters, and I don't like the simplified global storyline for everybody. It is better than what we had with Revan. That much I can tell you. It is better because having one storyline branching here and there, even though not as much as I would like to see it. Telltale Games, thank you very much. That's the name of the company. I did enjoy Revan as well. However, I wanted to see more lore from Yavin 4. Way more than what we did have. And unfortunately, going back with my memories to Rishi and Yavin, we had so much more content and time spent on Rishi and so less on Yavin 4. I wish that it was the other way around. That would have been perfect for me. I'm a huge fan of Yavin 4, and I've read quite a lot of lore, unfortunately now considered legends, thank you Disney, about this moon. Question from Sid Knight. How have you enjoyed your SWTOR playtime, and what is your favorite story in the game? My favorite story, as much as I want to say, is the Sentinel Jedi Knight. No, it's only the end of chapter 3, the original chapter 3 for the Jedi Knight, because of the final boss fight and the events that happened there. I'm not going to spoil it, don't worry, who you fight and why. Overall, the best story, in my opinion, is the Sith Warrior. Really interesting with really important choices. Absolutely a must play through with both light side and dark side decisions. That's just my suggestion. I can't really tell you how much of playtime I have, because I do own currently about 20-ish characters that are more than level 1. Not all of them are obviously 65. And another 20-ish characters that are very low level. And combined playtime would be a lot. The next question from Emco. Have you played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and if not, would you make a gameplay series of it? I have played both of the games. Unfortunately, the second KOTOR I only finished once, and I currently have no memories whatsoever of the events. I just remember bits and pieces. Don't really know why, what the hell happened to me, and why I forgot so much. I will not be making gameplay series because the game is very old. It doesn't run smooth on modern PCs, and I don't want the burden and the issues that I've experienced trying to play and live stream Star Wars Republic Commando, another awesome game, even though it's from a totally different genre. Yes, I know everybody likes agents. I do like the agent story as well. It's just not as Star Warsy as the Sith Warrior. And it's not because I'm wielding a glow stick during the Sith Warrior story. No, it's not that. It's, I don't know, something else. Coming up with the next question, let me probably scroll up so we can see them. Marco B. Do you think BioWare will stick with the current episodic chapters expansion content post season 2 of Knights of the Fallen Empire, or will they revert back to the standard model of adding content? Which do you prefer? Answering the second question first, by far I prefer a non-episodic content with personal stories for all of the 8 classes, but we know this isn't happening ever. In regards to what BioWare is going to do after second season, honestly, this will be in the middle of 2017, and I'm still holding up to my prediction that I did with Larry as a guest on his podcast for Massively OP. I still believe the game is going to shut down somewhere in 2017, probably in the late fall. I hope it's not true. I hope BioWare finds a way to fix the engine, but in the end of 2017, I do not see this game being successful with this crappy engine anymore. Really, again, I love the game and I don't want to see it closed unless it's for the next version. Question from Jasper. Name one thing that your opinion is missing, that in my opinion is missing in Star Wars The Old Republic. Open world PvP. No more comment on that. I've talked about it in the past a lot. Open world PvP. Please, BioWare, change the engine, bring me open world PvP. It may be one map, it needs to be good and working. I have a question. Oh, Zahir. I have a question. What do you think of the 3.0 ops, Ravagers and Tempo? In my opinion, they're worst ops in the game. They're not fun and just come off as being annoying. No, I disagree slightly with you here, Zahir, because I don't like the story in the Ravagers. It's very distant and it has absolutely nothing to do with the main storyline of the game. Whereas with the Temple of Sacrifice, you're actually following, chasing, and, spoiler alert, killing Revan in the end. Although it's one of the many versions of Revan we have now. Larry, hi man. I didn't know you were around. Thank you for joining. I forgot my line. Okay, moving on to the next question. The next is from Black. Curious to hear your thoughts on the upcoming light side versus dark side event, if any. Also, what endgame content would you add to SWTOR and why? I love your channel. Thank you, thank you. The event is already live. I haven't started it. I'm planning to start it probably at the end of this week or probably sometime around next week, Thursday or something, because, Tuesday and Wednesday I'm raiding with Solstice, so those days are not available for me to do anything else. I am doing one character with at least the first 3 or 4 tiers, slowly, live with you guys. Maybe I will allow you to do the choices for me. I haven't... You're distracting me for the second time, man. And I lost my thought again. Let's see. Do you think there will be any more operations introduced in SWTOR from Vulkarian clan? No. I am sad to disappoint you with my opinion, but I do not expect any more operations to ever be introduced in Star Wars The Old Republic. Depending on what BioWare decides to do after second season of Fallen Empire, we actually might see the game survive past 2017, which would be good. I just hope that it won't be on 1 point HP. You know what that means. I would like to see a new operation, but I've lost my hopes for that. Or at least I've lowered my hopes so I don't get constantly disappointed. I'm getting used to the fact that we haven't received a new operation in... What the hell is it now? Is it 16 months, 17, 18 months? That's a lot of time anyway. Okay, continuing with the questions. Thank you for the live poke. If I miss an important question from the live chat, repeat it, don't worry. Thank you for stopping, Dragon Spheres. Okay, moving on from Avatar Landraiser. What is your all-time favorite Star Wars character? If they were going to make a Star Wars movie outside of the main story, episodes 1 to 8, what time period would you want to see? I believe I've discussed both of these during various live shows. My favorite Star Wars character is Kit Fisto. He has a very small role in the movies, and he dies very quickly, unfortunately. And he doesn't have much of an important role in the expanded universe as well, or at least that much that I've read and watched. I don't like the character of Kit Fisto in the old or first version of the Clone Wars TV series. He was depressingly, boringly uninteresting. And to the second question, the time period for an outsider movie I would like to see is definitely something from the ancient era of the Star Wars universe. Something before SWTOR, something from the legends from 5,000 years ago, with the Sith Lords battling each other. Because all of this is considered legends now, Disney might consider to bring us totally new, different names of the Sith Lords and Unfortunately, they've already officially renamed Korriban to Moraband. So God knows what other things might change with the ancient eras of the Star Wars universe, but that's a movie I would be most entertaining or most hoping to see. Next question from Miroslav. Would you like to get Valkorion or Veiling as companion at the end of Fallen Empire? No. On Vulkk, I would reject both of them if for some reason they actually want to join. On my Sith warrior, it's very likely that I will take Veiling, but not Valkorion. He's awesome as living in my mind, but I don't want him as a companion. What do you think will happen at the end of season one? I believe I've already talked about that. Hopefully, it's enough. I'm keeping the best work I can. Thank you. If you had to choose one of the many, many planets, question from Martinez, in the galaxy far, far away, which one would you choose? When I first read this question, when he posted it 2 weeks ago, the first name of planet that came up to my mind is Dantooine. There is no real reason why I would choose Dantooine. As a matter of fact, I would either choose Dathomir because of the witches living there and because of the insanely interesting lore background for Dathomir. But as I spoke earlier, on second or on third thought, I would very likely choose Yavin 4, again because of the lore. Where we are. Glowbuster. Name one thing SWTOR needs to either bring back or add. Okay, I'm going to repeat myself. Open world PvP needs to be added, and operations need to be brought back. Simple, I know. It's a very expected answer, but I don't have a better one. The next question is from Goov. Do you think SWTOR will ever have a truly open endgame? You know, not just here are your 5 daily missions you repeat day after day, but a real open-ended based on what you have done and your story. Like bounty hunters gets the generated bounty missions and smugglers can pirate. All generated, but unlike to character type and light dark choices. I don't believe this is ever going to happen to the game. We did have something similar, although to a much lesser extent compared to what I believe you're trying to describe in Star Wars Galaxies. And it was fun. Player created content, or what was the official term? Player driven content? I think that would be awesome, but I don't see that happening. Kenny, hello Vulkk. This question has nothing to do with any of your topics, but I doubt anyone would mention it. Okay. Ooh, I remember that question. Do you watch WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment? If so, what is your opinion on Rusev, who is the first Bulgarian in the WWE? That is my actual question. And offhand question is, how is the weather there? Okay, let me start with the weather. The weather is extremely hot and unfriendly, but it's typical for the summer here in Bulgaria. And the answer to the first question is I actually enjoyed WWF before they renamed it to WWE for about, I don't know, 1 year or so. When they started first showing it here, with a week later, they were showing those Friday and Saturday events. I don't even remember their names anymore, but they were shown here on our TV channels a week later because it's cheaper to show them so much late. And I fell in love with the fake stories. I mean, I was a kind of a teenager back then. It was the young days of The Undertaker and The Rock, for example. The Triple H was it Triple H or Triple H, I believe. He still had that long hair and he was a bad guy together with his wife. I enjoyed the drama. I never enjoyed the fighting itself, but the drama was fun to watch. It was kind of like a TV series to enjoy every week. Of course, after a year or so, I grew bored with it and I stopped watching it. I resumed watching for a brief period just because everybody started talking about Rusev and what a hit he is on the other side of the ocean. And yes, I've enjoyed a few, what are they called? Pay-per-view events where he was kind of a middle or a big star. He's a fun guy. I don't like that they're presenting him as Russian, or actually, they present him as a Bulgarian person who is fighting for the Russians. Like, what the hell? Seriously? You couldn't have come up with a dumber idea? Um, I will not continue anymore with this question because I think I'm going way far off topic. I hope that's enough for you. If not, well, feel free to ask me again somewhere else, Twitter, Facebook, or another video. Question from Dire Pyre. What game is next on your playthrough? After finishing the playthroughs for The Witcher 3 that I still have planned, and they're going to take at least another month or two, maybe longer, the next game I was thinking of doing is actually undecided. Originally, I was thinking of replaying again Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, but it's an aging game, and unfortunately, it has a huge amount of issues with the licensed music playing in the background. I uploaded a full walkthrough on my second channel of the game, and every one of the videos got claimed, blocked, forbidden, and God knows what else because of licensed music. That's part of the game, not music I've taken elsewhere. Yes, I like that description, Speedlux. WWE, a soap opera for boys. Maybe that's why I was enjoying it. It was a soap opera when I was a boy. I mean, up in my mind, I'm still a silly small boy, but unfortunately, I can't allow to show that anymore. Where were we? Question from Frog Raider. What do you think of Fallen Empire as a whole and not individual chapters? I don't like the story, really. It's a little bit too predictable and we don't have enough choices. I mean, it's better than the previous expansion, a lot better, but BioWare can do more. I've played their classic old games and I know what this studio can do. I also know that the people responsible for SWTOR are actually a very different part of BioWare and not even remotely related to the people who worked on those so-called classic games. But hey, it's the same BioWare. Are you going through Fallen Empire on all your characters or just a select few? Definitely on just a select few. I'm not doing Fallen Empire more than 3, 4, probably 5 times overall. So far, I'm doing it on 3 characters every month, and I will do at least 1 or 2 more when we get the season finished, and probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 more when we got the second season finished, just because I want to see the possibilities and what and how I'm supposed to do to be able to explore all the outcomes. Question from Hairface. What made you want to start YouTube and when did you decide to start? That's fine for asking 2 questions in one sentence, don't worry. Originally, I'm going to be short because I've explained that in the past and it's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short. I believe I have a blog post on my website, so search for it and you should be able to find it. Why I started YouTube? First, I started YouTube and Twitch because I needed a way to store my videos in something like a cloud. And Twitch and YouTube provided good and reliable service for that. I didn't expect to grow my channel and audience, but it started happening on its own. And then I've decided that it's about time for me to adapt and learn how to behave in front of audience and not rely on YouTube and Twitch to just be my cloud hard drive storage. When did I decide to start it? I've already answered that. RSTV asks, what would you like to see next on SWTOR? Operations. Sorry for the brief and predictable answer. Athefos, how has SWTOR changed your life? Well, not much, honestly. If you relate SWTOR and YouTube, it has changed my life because now I commit a much bigger part of my free time and devoting it here to my YouTube channel and my audience, people who I speak to every day, huge amount of these people which I've never met in the real life and I will probably never meet in the real life. It is something very weird and strange for me when I first encountered that I don't know, that reality. Up until that moment, I was always used to having friends on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else, friends that I know from the real life. I never befriended someone who I've never met before simply because they didn't interest in me. I'm a person who likes to know who they're talking to and the person standing next to or in front of them. And my perspective slowly but very seriously changed over the 3, 4, 5 years after I started playing Star Wars: The Old Republic, and created my YouTube channels. Peter asks, who is your favorite companion in SWTOR? Plain and dull, Doc. He doesn't have the best story, but he's been truthful, loyal, and very powerful, going with me and for me through absolutely everything. Doc is one of the Jedi Knight companions. The next question is from Dorian, or Dorian. How often do you play SWTOR? What's your favorite class and species? Favorite MMO? Favorite MMO is obviously SWTOR. My favorite class is the Sentinel. And I play SWTOR these days probably about 10 to 15 hours per week. Sometimes way more, sometimes way less, depending on my raid activity. Huge amount of my playtime in SWTOR is going to either for YouTube development, for YouTube content, or for operations raiding. I still raid in the game. Rico Jess, when will you release the remaining story chapters for Sabrosa? Sabrosa is my Dark Side Jedi Knight Sentinel series that dates from probably near 2 years ago now, at least 1.5, that's for sure. I started playing those around 3.0 because of the huge changes to all the classes, and that's when we also got the skills, the skill revamps. We have the discipline system since 3.0. I never finished it really because I had piles and piles of video content sitting, if I may say so, on my desk before me, and I had to make a decision which one is more important and relative today. So at some point, the remaining videos for Sabrosa Adventures were, how should I put it, half a year delayed, and it was no longer relative to continue publishing them because they were in the form of live streams. And I actually never intended those live streams to be just purely for the story. They were talking about current events, and obviously with half a year delay, these events were long gone now, and most of the viewers were not showing interest to the videos anymore. Next one is from Phil. Where do you think and hope SWTOR is going to go for Season 2 or COTFI? I really don't know, haven't thought about it, and I will not think about it at least for another month. I want to see the end of Season 1, and then I'll start predicting Season 2. Don't worry, when I start doing that for myself, you'll definitely feel it because videos will start to appear, and I will start asking you for your opinion after I share mine. Question from Kalidas. Why do you think that people at LucasArts choose to take the EU and make it Legends or not canon? Ugh. I've also heard tons of speculation, and allow me please to give a very short and strict answer, because I've also pondered about that many hours and many times. Why LucasArts choose to, why Disney, not LucasArts? You're actually asking the wrong question if I'm reading it correctly. That's the wrong form of the question. Disney decided to scratch all of the content of the expanded universe and call it Legends because the company paid an insane amount of money to own the franchise, and they wanted total and complete freedom. They've done that in the past with other franchises, which I will not name now because we don't want to spoil too many things and derail from the main topic. So yeah, that's, I believe, the main reason. They wanted total freedom to experiment and do whatever they like. Jamie's Genius. What's the story behind your YouTube username? Very simple and very short. Thank you for asking. I believe I've said it before. Vulkk means wolf, translated. Vulkk is the Bulgarian word for wolf in English. The second K is just because I like second K. I don't know why. I had characters with double Ks in SWTOR before I called Alex Vulkk. Vulkk's original name on the Origin server when I started the game was Alex, because I was one of the very first few people to log into that server, called Frostclaw, by the way. If there is anybody originating from Frostclaw, hello. After the first and the second server transfers, obviously I was forced to rename, and I choose Vulkk. I've always wanted to be called Vulkk. I don't really know why exactly I didn't choose it in the beginning. Scrolling a little bit because I forgot to do that. I think I missed from Cool Troller. Who do you personally think is Supreme Leader Snoke? My theory is that he is Visciati. No, I don't think he is Visciati. But I've heard a theory that I really liked. Sorry, he is going to be the blue-haired Aladdin from the new Star Wars Rebels. I like that theory, and if that's true or even remotely possible, I would really like to see it happen. Awesome Guy asks, I'm actually curious about the question you mentioned. Who do you think will win the Europe Championship? Okay, it's still a relative question because currently we're just about to start watching the semifinals. My favorite is Germany, but I actually believe that Portugal and France have a chance. I would absolutely love it if Wales is the new champion, but there is no chance for that to happen. What is my favorite class story in SWTOR and why? I've already told you that it's the Sith Warrior overall. Triss or Yennefer is again the same question that I've answered in a from a previous user already. Really? It's VLK in Czech? Wow. If SWTOR were to introduce another class or species, what would you like to see? Species, I would like to play a Java. We know that Wookiee is not happening, but I believe Java is a lot more possible. Or maybe the species of Yoda. Why not? Yeah, it's Bano. It's a little bit boring, but I still want to be able to play that. Ithorian is another awesome option. We did have a chance to play Ithorian in Star Wars Galaxies, and it was fun, a lot of fun. Continuing with the questions, what would you do or play? That's from Rexy Dexy. If SWTOR would shut down its servers, if they do it right now, I would definitely focus fully and completely on The Witcher 3 because it's an insanely huge game. And even though I have over 550 hours invested into it, I still haven't explored everything. I still haven't seen every single outcome. And I have more things to do and show. Brian Paone, let's say Mickey Mouse taps you to finally name the Star Wars galaxy. What would you name it and why? Wait, you mean the global name for the Star Wars galaxy? Oh, I will have to leave you hanging here. Forgive me, but it's a way too complicated question for me to be even remotely capable of trying to answer it. I will think about it and possibly return with the written form of that answer. If I forget, please feel free to ask me again someplace else later. Lugiax is asking, will coffee be less profitable next season in your opinion? Much, much less profitable, I'm sure about that. People are getting bored with the chapter stories. And unless BioWare brings up the drama with the second season, or at least with the end of the first season, I expect a lot less people will be interested, or a lot less people will realize that it's a good idea to subscribe once in the end of the season and never bother with subscribing each month. Will as many people sub for gated content like the HK chapter again next? No, definitely not. Unless, of course, the HK chapter is something outstanding and never seen before, but I doubt it will be anything special. Do you think if Kotvi was made into a buy-to-play model, meaning SWTOR is free, no free-to-play restrictions, then Kotvi could sell on its own merit and retain all these subs? No, definitely. I don't think any kind of a buy-to-play model is possible for Star Wars The Old Republic. Why? I can't really explain. It's just my opinion, my prediction, if you will. Basically, BioWare has treated MMO players as second-rate subs. Can they successfully continue this? Yes, they can. As long as this game bears the Star Wars title, everything is possible. I think I spotted a question from the chat live here. Sideman FC, if you didn't have the YouTube username you have now, what would your username be? Oh, I hope I will never have to think about that ever. This was the first name that I choose, and thankfully it was available. You know, the second one would very likely be Sauborn, because that was my main character from Lotro, and I really like the sound of the word Sauborn. It's a purely Elvish name also, for those of you who don't know. The next question is from Taylor Ben. What is your favorite spec? I know you main a Sentinel, as a matter of fact, me too. But for instance, I really enjoy playing Concentration, even if I use Watchman or Combat whenever numbers are needed. My favorite spec, honestly, is totally 50-50 split between Watchman and Combat, or between Annihilation and Carnage. Why? Because I enjoy playing them both, but I enjoy playing them both in specific moments and environments. If you force me to play, for example, uh, Combat or Carnage on Revan, I would not have the same fun compared to what I do when I play Annihilation and Watchman in the Revan fight. Both are possible. I've done Combat Carnage on Revan and I know how to do it. Everybody, obviously, with a little bit or more than a little bit experience, know how to adapt their combat, their play style. But I do enjoy these specs in specific environments. If you force me to play outside of these environments with any of these specs, I would not enjoy it as much. So, does that count as an answer? I hope. The next question from Ninacle the Amazing. What character would you most like to romance in SWTOR? What storyline have you most enjoyed? And if you could have item in SWTOR, what it would be? Okay, first question. What character would you most like to romance? I never really paid attention to the romancing options, but Trick, why not? I would like to see how exactly Trick behaves as a romanceable character. Simply because it's not possible. What storyline have you most enjoyed? I've answered that already. If you could have any item in SWTOR, what would it be? Thanks to my loyal and long-standing supporter, subscriber, follower, and friend Rizasha Gaming on Twitter, I do have the item that I desire the most, and I have the outfit that I desire the most. The outfit is the combat or the battle monk outfit, as I call it, and the item is the Arbiter's unstable lightsaber. I do have those things. First one, thanks to my own efforts to purchase it way 3 years ago, and the second one, thanks to Rizasha's gift. I don't really like WWE. No, I enjoy the drama from time to time. I watch like one pay-per-view event once in a blue moon, like once in. I do watch the WrestleMania every year. I don't enjoy it anymore that much, but I watch it. I don't know why, because it's something big and it's something really expensive to create as an event. Continuing with question from, I believe the next one is Alex Pham. If you could be any Jedi you want for a day, what would it be? What would you do if you were that Jedi for a month? That's the type of question. If you were invisible for a day, what would you want to be or what would you want to do? If I was a Jedi, I would probably be young Obi-Wan. Not old, because every old person wishes to be young, and even though the old Obi-Wan Kenobi is a wise man, he's old. The life is actually behind him now, and the young still student Obi-Wan Kenobi is so full of hope, so full of desire, and full of passion, ready for the life before him. I really enjoyed the character, and I'm actually a fan of the actor who played Obi-Wan Kenobi in the new trilogy. The question from Kurok Gaming. Do you think there will be a new Flashpoint associated with the release of Codfish Season 1, Chapter 16? Nope, nope. They've actually stated it in the last developers live stream a few days ago. There are not going to be any kind of a group content in the near future. That's including Flashpoints. Jan Pfeiffer or Pfeiffer. Is there any other way to make CC on SWTOR without using real money? Yes. There are crowd controls, damn it. There are cartel coins bound to achievements in the game, but there are not a huge amount of cartel coins. If I remember correctly, the total amount you can earn if you do like all of the achievements, that's an insane amount of playtime. You're going to end up with like 5 or 6,000 of cartel coins. But I really mean you cannot do that in a day or in a month, and you have to pay a lot more cartel coins or subscribe to the game to be able to unlock and do most of these achievements. Okay, since I'm getting really tired and we're closing the 1 hour mark, give me a suggestion. Would you prefer to continue for a few more minutes after a very short break, or maybe cut it here and save all the other tons and tons of questions for later on? Just write something down in the chat, and I will be back in a minute or two, and then we'll decide what we're doing. Misa back. I had a chance for a quick refreshment, refilled my mug. Hey, how many of you have seen my mug? I haven't shown it during live shows in quite some time. I know that repeating the same answers is actually tiring and boring at some point. I'm trying to avoid doing that, but sometimes I actually give the answer before realizing that I've done it already. Let's continue with a few more. I don't expect many folks will enjoy videos such long, but it's a very different situation when you're watching live. Where were we? Once again, a reminder, if I skip a question, it's not on purpose, it's just because there are so many questions and sometimes my eye might actually skip to the next row unwillingly. Um, let's see. From Kylo Dan, do you think Revan will return? Unfortunately, yes, I do. He's going to return in one way or another. I'm expecting him to battle Valkorion at some point, somewhere, somehow. I don't know why. I wish BioWare is going to give us a decent explanation. Question from Naomi, which I believe is here. Are you here still, Naomi? Do you think Satil Shan will have a larger role as the Kotvi story ends, and also in season 2? So far, Satil and her new best friend, Dartmar, know so much about the Alliance and Zaku, but haven't done much for or against either faction. But it seems that Satil has some importance to the story. Otherwise, why is she there? I do believe Satil and Mar are going to have a major role at some point. It's going to be a little bit of an overdoing it if all of the things that we hope and expect to happen in chapter 16 do happen. It's going to be either a very long chapter or a very messy one. So I'm actually going to postpone the expectations and delay the expectations for Satil and Mar for the second season at some point. I would love to see both of those spirits. Sorry, actually, Satil is not a spirit yet. I would love to see them both helping me versus Malgus in the end of season 2. Question from Shadow God. How many level 60 and 65 characters have you ever had? Really hard to tell. I currently have 4 or 5 level 65 characters, but only 3 of them are doing the story. I have many characters level 60, even more level 55, and following below, yet again, I have many, many more. The predictions for the Euro Cup, I've already said that. Russian, 4 questions. Wow, okay. In SWTOR, which character do you think has the best interesting storyline? Sorry for reading it. That's a question I've answered. What type of PC setup do you use to record SWTOR and The Witcher 3? Obviously, I have only one PC. Last year, I made an attempt to ask for help and support to back when I was still live streaming to Twitch. And before OBS created their multi-platform, I went on a campaign to ask for support and help from my viewers and followers to help me get a dedicated streaming editing PC, which didn't happen, unfortunately, because my audience is very narrow and not everybody is willing to share their personal savings or their last dollar with a live streaming personality. So I didn't manage to do that, but thankfully later on, with the help of the people who donated back then on Twitch for that goal, and combined with my campaign on Patreon, last summer I managed to buy a very good video card, which actually solved a huge amount of my previously continuously going forever problems with stuttering, low FPS, and other things like that. You know that my videos today are of very high quality. The audio as well. The audio upgrade from a few months ago is also thanks to the pledges and donations from the people supporting me on Patreon. Thank you, guys. Regarding the PC setup in details, you can find it on my website. Or probably on Google, type Vulkk PC setup or Vulkk PC hardware configuration or something involving Vulkk and PC. And probably one of the very first results from Google is going to be the link to my blog post with all of the links to each one of my hardware components with their pricing on Amazon. How were you introduced into playing SWTOR? I loved SWTOR from the very first time I heard the rumors about the game, and I've talked about that in much greater detail in a blog post and in video series called SWTOR 4 Years in Retrospect. You can find all of these on my YouTube channel and on my website as well. If you have trouble finding them, ask me again and I will link them to you. Which expansions in SWTOR did you enjoy most? Rise of the Hutt, the first one, Shadow of Revan, the second one, or Fallen Empire, the third one? Damn it. Honestly, based on the story from the expansions, definitely the Fallen Empire series, but based on the amount of content and changes BioWare presented, Probably it's a split between Huts and Shadow of Revan. Maybe Shadow of Revan is going to be the winner here because of the huge amount of changes, gameplay, mechanics, tactics, and pretty much everything else coming with 3.0. The next one is from Forever Young. Oh, I wish I had your name. When you play coffee with your main, did you make all light, all dark, or mixed decisions? Yes. Oh, that's a person who hasn't seen my videos, probably. I've been playing with one character all light, one character all dark. Respectively, it's a Jedi Knight and Sith Warrior. And the third character that's currently doing it is kind of a light side, but sometimes he's doing not the dark side, but kind of a neutral decision, which is my commando. Mil Lumber, it was fun hearing you on Passionately Casual podcast. So my question is, will you be appearing as a guest in other SWTOR podcasts? And do you know any Europe-based podcasters, or are they all based on US servers? I really have no clue if an European-based podcasters do exist. Very likely they do, but I don't follow all of the podcasts regularly. And will I be appearing as a guest on another? I do appear when I'm invited, and even then, I don't appear everywhere just because people want to use my name. I know it sounds harsh, but at this point, I've already made a name for myself, and I'm actually careful what my name is used for. For example, an year or maybe a year and a half ago, there was an issue with some person on a US server called Vulkk, or actually, I don't remember his name. Nobody actually made me a screenshot, but folks during my live show started reporting that the person named Vulkk was behaving very badly and presenting himself for the Vulkk from YouTube. So I'm really trying to keep my name my personal one and as clean as I can possibly keep it, which also means taking part of podcasts that I do know about. If it's a brand new podcast and I don't know the people who are creating it, I will probably refuse, because I do enjoy supporting new projects, but until I'm sure what exactly are the intentions of those folks, it's very likely that I would refuse it. And I don't know why I'm spending so much time explaining something that probably most of you don't care. But it's again a personal question. The next one is from Regent Lord. Do you think the game, SWTOR probably, can survive continuing with the current development schedule? Yes, it can. No, it cannot be any more profitable than what it is currently. I'm very terrible with names, so I take partially the blame here for struggling with yours. At least the second part is easy. The amazing. Next question. From the Midnight Pride. What do you think will be the next big thing after the Eternal Championship? As in, not chapter-related edition. I want to say a new daily area. I mean, it's not a big thing, but considering the fact that we haven't received a new daily hub in a very long time, at this point, it's probably considered to be something big. In terms of new mechanics and something story-related or group content-related, I really have no clue. From DocCac42. Hey Volk, if you could choose to create your own unique character or legacy title, what would it be and why? I had a chance to create my own unique name and legacy, and even though my imagination falls short for the legacy name because I choose my personal family name, for those of you who know it, for those of you who don't know, it's not really hidden, you can find it in many places. And Vulkk is really by far the best name that I could come up with, so I'm happy it was available when I decided to take it. From Dart Auro. How can DPS specs like Marksman be fixed for PvE without negatively affecting PvP? In example, a return of 2mm snipers hard swapping. I cannot answer specifically for the sniper because I haven't played that class in nearly 1 year now. My character is still sitting at level 55. but I can give you a global answer that was valid even for Lotro, and it's Lotro did it very well, even though they did it too late. Here, the same thing can and should be done, I believe. BioWare needs to split the PvP from the PvE activity, and they need to learn how to introduce something like a unique buff sitting next to the bolster. As in, when you're in a PvP environment, your gear, your stats, and most importantly, your abilities, passives, and actives need to behave differently. As in, you will be doing less damage, you will be doing no dot attached to this attack or that attack. You will be doing different kind of healing using the same skill in PvP and PvE environment, and continuing down the line. I think you get my point. Atcom, in your opinion, what is the most important quality of life change since you have started playing? I want to say the UI being editable. It's not as editable as I wish it to be, but it was a huge step up compared to the first user interface of the game, which is still available today. And I believe BioWare calls it the retro UI or something along those lines. From Sir Lionel, if you could buy if you could buy Kefes as a mount for 10,000 cartel coins, would you? Are you trolling me, man, or what now? And if not, what item would you be willing to pay 10,000 cartel coins for? Doesn't matter if it's an actual item or one that would need to be implemented first. See, you actually hit the bullseye with the first prediction. I would pay 10,000 cartel coins to have Kefes as a mount. And I would pay I was gonna say 100,000, but okay, let's be a little bit more reasonable. I would pay double the price to have Kefes as my personal mount, and nobody else would be able to use it. That would be my dream come true for SWTOR. As in, you see someone raiding a mount called Kefes and looking like Kefes. I don't care which Kefes it's gonna be. BioWare has the total freedom of choosing which one of the Kefeses they're going to make as a mount. I would prefer the TFB version, of course. Or maybe the dragon. Oh, never mind. Okay, that's a different topic. It would be awesome if I managed to get my own personal mount, even though it's absolutely not happening at all. But continuing further, questions from Ryan. What was the first class story you completed? Jedi Knight, the Sentinel story. I completed it around Christmas or New Year, I believe, on 2nd of January. To be more exact, or 3rd of January, never mind, of 2011, I finished the first story for my first character. What was the first video game you played? Oh, I think it was Warcraft 2. But don't quote me on that, even though I'm saying it for myself. If you owned SWTOR, what would you change? I would go back to 2011 and not release the game in the form and version that was available back then. I would delay it even more and take all the blame and hate from the huge player base community that we used to have back then. I would have delayed the game with 6 more months, and if somehow I can, I would go back way to 2005 and change the decision for the engine. Whoever dumbass decided to purchase and modify this alpha version of the Hero engine made the biggest mistake BioWare has ever made, really. Sorry. A question from Autisti. Pepsi or Coke? Definitely Pepsi. I'm actually drinking Pepsi right now, right here. Many of you guys have been pestering me to hear gulp, gulp. Let's see if you can hear it. Nope. I think the threshold for noise is way too high on OBS, so you couldn't hear. Echelon, why are so many people afraid of playing a tank? Because, simple answer to a complicated question. Because it's the most important class and role in any MMO. Discuss that further in the comments, please. This is one of the best questions that a person can ask about an MMO. The next one from Sabun X. What would you do to satisfy the hard mode and nightmare mode raiders that are still left playing SWTOR? More importantly, do you think BioWare will actually add new endgame content with season 2 of the story? No, they've already said there will be no endgame and no group content coming anytime soon, which involves season 2. I really hope that they change their minds, but I don't think that's going to happen. And there is absolutely nothing I would do to satisfy the hard mode and nightmare raiders. I would personally scratch the nightmare mode. It was too much for the game, and we, the player base, realized that it was too much for BioWare to handle after the first year of the game. It's awesome to have 3 tiers of difficulty, but it became clear very quick and very easy that BioWare is not capable of supporting 3 tiers of difficulty with different mechanics. I mean, it doesn't count if EV has 3 modes. It doesn't count for 3 modes if the challenges and mechanics are exactly the same. But in story mode, the boss is looking with cuddly eyes at you, and in Nightmare, the boss is one-shotting you. That doesn't count as a nightmare and as a different tier. That's not how I see it. If I had the capability of creating nightmare mode, I would implement different mechanics. And I forgot to scroll probably for those of you who are actually watching and reading the questions. Daniel asks, what is your favorite Star Wars game that you've ever played? I want to say Star Wars The Old Republic simply because I've invested much more time of my personal time and life into the game. But actually one of the game I've really enjoyed and I tried to re-enjoy recently, but I couldn't because of technical and BioWare style of answer technical issues. It is Star Wars Republic Commando. I've played it twice back in 2005 or 6. I can't remember when I bought it the first time. The game was released in 2005. And I really wanted to play it again because I've forgotten most about it, most of the story. But unfortunately, it doesn't understand the modern PC life. Next one is from Pomer. Sorry. Who is your favorite companion? Oh, that question has been answered. Creeper Killer asks, what does the text on your YouTube banner say? I believe, let me check again. It does say, welcome to my channel. That's Arabesh. And it's not really easy. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. Next, we go to Janik. Are you more of a dot spec enthusiast or burst spec fan? I'm not going to continue because that question is actually going to overlap with the previous answer I've already given about the dot spec and burst. One thing I can add is I do prefer burst spec for leveling. Obviously, everybody should. I'm just quickly browsing through a few more questions, see if I have something that I really want to answer. Because I'm thinking of wrapping it up. I don't want to tire you boys and girls. And I myself am already tired. My favorite YouTuber. I don't really have a favorite YouTuber. I follow a variety of channels, both gameplay related and PC or tech related. I don't really have a favorite. Even if I name one right now, everybody else who I'm subscribed to and who is subscribed to me and we do have a connection is probably going to regret and rage on me for that. But the truth is, I really don't have. I'm not going to read any more questions. I've probably managed to go through, I don't know, half of them, probably, or maybe more than half of the questions. And I would like to thank each of everyone who posted. Now, before we wrap this up, I will tell you why I didn't have the webcam, simply because it's Monday evening. I'm always very tired. That's why I usually try to avoid live streaming on Monday. And I've been doing that for a long time, not just recently. But more because of the lightning. The lightning in the room here is very inappropriate, and I prefer it to be like so, because it's a lot easier for me to read text from the screen when I have dim light around me and not bright light, what I usually have when I'm live streaming. And because I've been talking for 1.5 hours and I've been reading text from the screen for 1.5 hours, I've decided to do the best I could with the tools I have available at my disposal to make the reading less tough. You say it's an awesome stream? Ah. Oh, Naomi, I think I just answered about the camera. That was it. Yes. So Volkarian asks again, would you like to see the weapons tuning give an additional stat to your weapon? No, 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 no. Absolutely not. Or that's actually a very good idea. Hey, Aris, you're joining a little bit late. If the weapon tuning gives an extra stat, this should be only available on the weapon tuning that appears from in-game, not related to the cartel store. Thank God, even today, after what is it now, 3 years of free-to-play and cartel store existence, the game is still not how did I call it? Buy to win or pay to win. Thank God the game is still holding the right decision. The BioWare is still holding up to the right decision and not turning the game into a pay to win. I've played very briefly another MMO, which I enjoyed a lot because it was simple, easy, and very casual. But as soon as I started reading more about it, I've played it for like 5 to 10 hours. And then I've decided I like it and I started reading more about it. And I've discovered endgame in this MMO is actually pay to win. I immediately quit it. That's not the type of game I can even tolerate, let alone enjoy. Do you like, is that New York and New Jersey? I have absolutely no preferences here. Oh, we're going to have a lot more speculation HQ. Thank you for that question. But very soon, I will probably post a video and I will ask all of you to start speculating, although many of you have already been doing that in the short teaser that I've published, which was part of the developer live stream from a few days ago. But there will be time for speculation. Don't worry. I will try to build the hype up for the last chapter of the first season because I want all of us to be excited. The chapter may not cover all of our expectations. It usually happens this way. But I'm going to do my best to prepare you people to enjoy that last chapter with me or without me. That's it. I believe it's time to wrap it up. Please remember, leave your opinions down below in the comments when I publish this video, because not many people are actually reading when they're watching these videos. They don't spend time reading the live chat, even though I'm displaying it as an overlay. So if I've missed something during the live show, post it down in the comments. If it was a question, ask it again. I will type you a written answer. And maybe not this month, but next or the one after next month, I will have another Q&A session, most likely live again. And depending on your suggestions and opinions, it might be the same version as we just did or a totally different one. So don't be shy. Tell me what you think about this event that is just about to end. Wrapping it up, thank you very much for your support, for your presence, and for your activity. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.